Okay, this is probably the heaviest video I'm ever going to film on here. And before I get into this, everything I'm talking about in here, I have been through years of therapy. I've been through now like a year of EMDR. So everything I'm talking about, I'm not putting myself out on a limb here because I've already healed. So if anyone attacks me for saying this or individually messages me for saying this, get fucked, honestly. Okay. So the definition of a misandrist from Oxford is a person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against men. And I wouldn't even say I hate men anymore. I think I'm more like indifferent to them. Like, I don't really like care at this point. Like, I feel like since realizing what men are really like and how they are, I was in the anger stage for a while, for a long time, and now I'm like moving into like the acceptance stage. But I am going to give you the list of reasons why I have a bias towards disliking men and distrusting them right away. I'm going to start out with things that are less intense, and please, if you're not in a headspace to hear some heavy stuff, save the video, come back to it later, or scroll. Hey, if you're still here, obviously you're ready to hear. Capitol Hill, Seattle, I've been grabbed twice without my consent. When guys are trying to get past me, they grab my waist, like they do the thing where they like grab your waist and they're like, excuse me. And then the second guy who did that to me, he whispered in my ear, "You're mine." A complete stranger. Which, the first time it happened, it caused me to have a panic attack and start like screaming and crying in downtown Seattle. And both of the times I was intoxicated, so I didn't have the reflexes. If I did, I would have slapped them. I would have. Or like grab them and scratch them, and like that's exactly the response I would have wanted to have. But I was intoxicated, and men who do that, they know that. That's why they do it then. My first introduction to what it's like to have an introduction or a relationship with a man was through anger and violence. That is the love language that was taught to me from a very young age, is that love comes in the form of screaming. My first boyfriend essayed me in the woods. And then I broke up with him 2 weeks later because he told me that if I didn't have sex with him in 6 months, mind you, I'm 13, 14, that he would break up with me. So I broke up with him. Second boyfriend was even worse. He assaulted and R-worded me multiple times throughout our relationship. And then when I broke up with him, he told me he was going to off himself, and made me, I like went back to him, like, I think like 4 different times before like I completely blocked him on everything, because I realized he was just full of shit, and he was just like guilt tripping me into being with him, trying to like over and over. And then on top of that, he got his best friends to bully me on social media. And one of them, even, there was a guy I was talking to right after him. Somehow my ex found out, and then he got his friend to message the guy I was talking to and told him that I was crazy and I had too many emotions. Thankfully, the guy I was talking to at the time, he responded and laughed in his face and said, "You're stupid. Like, what are you doing?" Like, oh my God, I have emotions. And here's a list of things that that ex-boyfriend told me. You're a bitch. I miss you. Give me another chance. You're crazy. I hope the guy you're talking to knows what he's getting into, because holy shit. Good luck to whoever dates you next, because if they're gonna have to put up with this, then this is rough. Just didn't think you'd move on so quick, but you don't seem to give a shit, so I hope he makes you happy. Sophomore year of high school, a guy assaulted me during class by putting his hand on my chair when I wasn't looking, when I was standing up, and then I sat on his hand. Which I know now is something that they teach in Red Pill and Manosphere circles. And on top of that, it happened right in front of the teacher and she didn't do anything. I had a guy best friend who was 2 years younger than me, and the whole time he was just trying to... And then he ended up essaying me. And then when I told the guy about it I was talking to at the time, he told me it was my fault. I got an STD from a popular creator on here. It was temporary, but he, of course, denied it the whole time and said it wasn't him. But I had to inform him because by law, if you, at least where I live, if you have one, you have to inform partners that you were with before so that they can get tested. I had a guy one time, he broke up with me because, or we didn't date because he said, like, the drive was too long, like, we were gonna do long distance, and then 2 weeks later, he started dating someone 2 states over. One time a guy told me that I wasn't hot anymore when I dyed my hair and I wasn't blonde. One time during I was slapped across the face without consent. So now I know that means he was probably a corn addict. One time I had a guy completely, I mean, this has happened multiple times, lying about his political affiliation. That's nothing new. But then on top of that, he went into dissing a bunch of people that we grew up with because, like, I had known him. But then I found out he actually hung out with those people and literally says the N-word from someone else. So he literally, like, completely lied about his personality. I had a guy in high school spread rumors about me that, like, saying, like, I was a slut and a whore because I led him on and told him that I wanted a relationship when that's not what happened from the very beginning. I told him I wasn't emotionally available and didn't have the capacity for a relationship. I just wanted a friends with benefits. And I think it happened because he had ED. Small bean. I was friends with benefits with this guy, like, on and off for, like, 2 years. And the last time we hung out, he made a joke that I was an R-wordist when I said something. And I was like, literally in that moment, I was like, okay, I'm never seeing you again because that's a really weird thing to say. And that sounds like he's projecting. And then the last one, this isn't, like, as intense. It's just, like, what the fuck? I had a guy one time, he was dating someone for, like, 2.5 years. And before that, we had a little thing. And I was like, is your girlfriend okay with us being friends because of our past? And he said yes. And said that she was fine with it and that she knew about me. Newsflash! She had no idea I existed. So that was an interesting thing to find out and unpack. But yeah, wow, that all, like, fit perfectly under 10 minutes. But that's why my bias is fucking justified.